Hi, my name is Paul Friedman, founder of the Marriage Foundation, and this video has a cute title. It's called 10 Things to Do to Improve Your Marriage. But I want you to know that these are very real things. I take what I'm doing very seriously. I used to be a divorce mediator, and when I shifted to helping people with their marriages, which is in 2001, a long time ago, I did it because I saw how impacted people are by divorce, how much destruction it does, not just for the couple, but for their children and future generations. Because a divorce, even an unhappy marriage, runs counter to the great gifts that we have as human beings. It is absolutely a birthright to be happy all the time. It's a birthright. And it is a birthright to have a marriage that contributes to our happiness, but it is we as individuals who have that right to be happy. It's a birthright. I'm going to explain this before I get into this course, into this class. We as human beings have experienced happiness. We all know what happiness is. We've all experienced love. We know what love is. The thing that most people overlook is that we have free will. Free will isn't so that we could choose between a Ford or a Chevy. Free will is so that we could control our habits, our thoughts, our feelings. It's up to us, effectively, to control our destiny. So let's get into this with that in mind, because there's nothing that I share that isn't absolutely doable. And at the Marriage Foundation, which is our vehicle, the vehicle that we created to sort of get this out into the world, the Marriage Foundation is a nonprofit, and we have some beautiful things for you. We have a course for you, whether you're a man or for a woman. We have a course for you. We have a lot of free information. For instance, you can subscribe to this channel. It's free. We have a couple of books. We have information that is absolutely useful because it's truthful and it's all designed to elevate you as a person and to elevate your marriage to that place of love and happiness. So let's start these 10 things to do. There's two parts to this. I'm going to give you 5 things to not do, and then I'm going to give you 5 things to do. Let's start with number 1. Number 1, anyone can do it if they set their mind to it. And that is curb your tongue when you want to say something mean. The insanity of just blurting out how you feel at the moment is so destructive. It's promoted. We're told that we're supposed to let it out. In the 60s, some idiot therapist came up with the idea of venting being a good thing. People were going into the woods and drumming. People were taught how to express themselves negatively. Say what's on your mind. Why would you ever consider that to be rational? You know, if you see someone who has a deformity, you don't go, "Hey man, you have a deformity." You have discrimination. It's one of the tools that we have innately. We don't just say what's on our mind. And when you're married, what you really want is you want to invest love and happiness into your marriage. In other words, love and happiness to your partner, to your spouse. And what you don't want to do is you don't want to say something that you really shouldn't. There's this beautiful expression: say what you should, not what you want. The should be determined by what is going to feed the happiness in your marriage. So number one is curb your tongue when you want to say something mean. You don't have to, and you shouldn't. Number two, and this is a big one. This is a big one. Because it seems, let me tell you what it is. Number two is refrain from using your spouse as your very own complaint department. It just seems that human nature is to always talk about what's not good for you at the moment. What happened today that sucked? What happened with so-and-so that made you feel bad? You want to turn that around. You have the free will. But the real reason why you don't want to do that is because you didn't marry your spouse so that they could be the dumpster for your feelings. You married them, remember these things. You married them to honor them, remember? Love them with all your heart, mind, and soul. Cherish them. Treat them like you don't treat anyone else. That's why you married them. And we forget that. And we just fall into this mundane mentality of we have to have a conversation. What would be a good thing to talk about? Well, I will tell my husband what Sally did today. I will tell my wife what George did today. Or worse, I will tell my wife what she did today that I don't like. Or I will tell my husband what bothers me. Oh, but I'll use I statements, which is a total crock. If you're even thinking, I want to say this, I better use an I statement, really don't say it at all, because you already know it's going to be a complaint. We don't have the ability to change each other. We have the ability to change ourselves. Nobody wants to be told what's wrong with them. You don't want to be told what's wrong with you, and your spouse doesn't want to be told what's wrong with them, and it's impolite anyway. Number three, this is big. And the reason this is big is because we are inundated with misinformation around this topic. So number three is don't confuse sex for intimacy. The world has interchanged these two words, and these two words have nothing to do with each other at all. Sex is a primal action. That's all it is. It is a primal action that every creature participates in for the purpose of procreation, of increasing the species. We are driven by our bodies to have sex. Intimacy, and then when we bring it up, before I get into it a little more, what we do to be sophisticated, and some people call ourselves sophisticated animals, which is ridiculous. We're human beings. We turn it into recreational sex. So it's still, there's that old saying, you could dress a pig up in a tutu. It's not going to be a ballet dancer. It's still going to be a pig. Sex is sex. Now, does that mean that we are low animals if we partake in sex in our marriage? No. But we should use sex as a tool, like we use our hands to touch each other to convey our feelings. We use our lips to kiss each other to convey our feelings. We can use sex to convey our heart's love. But it's very tricky, and one has to be very careful. One should never get into having sex with their spouse when it's based on lust or a desire for release. You should not do that. You should avoid that. Now, intimacy is the connection that we seek when we get married. It's the connection at the highest level of ourselves. Our true self, we are souls. That's why they call us soulmates. Connecting as souls, that means in the sphere of love, and love alone is intimacy. Raising our consciousness up to that level of love. It is intimacy. It's ever expansive. It is beautiful. There is no replacement for it. Don't bring it down by using sex for the lower ambitions. It's not worth it at all. Number 4, don't talk or think about past exes. Whether it's an ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend, ex-wife, ex-husband, don't bring them into your marriage. Your marriage is a fresh start at a high level of love and intimacy. It is the arena, the venue that you want to build on a foundation of love. An ex in your spouse will bring up ideas that you still care about them. And it will create uncertainty, jealousy, insecurity. What good will it do? Nothing. Nothing. It can do a lot of damage. And oftentimes you bring up an ex as a way of comparing or as a way of letting them know how good you are. Men tend to talk about their ex-girlfriends and ex-wife to show off. That's the male thing. Women do it to send a message to their husbands, hey, you should be doing this too. Neither are cool. Don't do it. Okay, now we could go to number 5. Don't sell your spouse on the things you want. Don't sell them on the things that you want. Have more respect for them, for their ability to process, for their ability to think things through. Present information. It might have a tinge of selling going on if you're excited about something, but be ultra considerate. Why? One of the greatest gifts is free will. We have free choice as human beings, and it's a vast power. When we impose on our spouse's power to choose for themselves, to process for themselves, we are stealing from them something that we didn't give them. God gave us free choice. It comes with the package of coming into this world as a human being. It's a gift. We don't have the right to take that away. It's very tricky because in this material world, we're taught to sell. We're taught to convince. We're taught even to manipulate. All of those are dangerous. Now we're going to get into the do's. Before we go there, I want to inform you that the Marriage Foundation is nonprofit, but we do have things that we offer you that are products that you can purchase. If your marriage is a little bit rocky, you may just need one of the books. You definitely need something. So you can learn about marriage with the idea and the ideal of achieving the gifts of marriage, I call them, which is ever-expanding love. Ever-expanding love, because love has no boundaries. It's not an emotion. And ever-increasing happiness. As I mentioned before, it's a birthright. But you may need the information. So look into these books that we have. But also, if your marriage is starting to slide towards an end, and you know when it is, don't hesitate to get the course for women if you're a woman and the course for men if you're a man. Don't wait until it's too late. Now, fortunately, the things that I have seen, both as a mediator and having been doing this for so many years, is that the end is near is usually not true. I always worked with people. I had the benefit because I was a divorce mediator, so I had a lot of contacts, and I started getting therapists sending clients to me who they had written off. Done, dead on arrival. Paul, would you see so-and-so? And I would, and we would save their marriage, because the principles that we use in these courses and in the books and everything that I do are rock solid, where most information about marriage that you'll find in the world is simply nonsense. So there's a big difference. So look into what we have. Now, the do's, these are good. Number one, listen. Now, most of you are thinking I'm talking just to the men, but I am not. Men, you know you don't listen well enough, and you know that when you do listen, you're going, but you're not hearing. Now I'm going to tell you what the key to proper listening is all about. Listening isn't just with the ears. Listening is with the heart. You promise to love and cherish. You do that through empathy that is born of a true love, a loyalty, to where you really want to know not what your partner is saying necessarily, but what is behind what they're saying. For instance, ladies, if your husband is complaining about something, you don't want to get into that. You don't want to jump into that hole that he's dug himself into by becoming attached to whatever it is that's bothering him. But maybe he just needs a little affection. So you want to listen with your heart and be there for them. Men, just listen. But listen again with your heart and feel the need. Your wife may just need you to listen. Sometimes it's that simple. And then you just listen, but hear what she's saying. Listening is a really important part of communication. It's probably the most important part of communication, because listening is sending a message that says, I love you enough to care, no matter how big or how small it is, what you're sharing. So listening is cool. Listen. Number 2, actually it's number 7. Be considerate, but to extreme degrees. Don't just be quasi-considerate, and don't be just considerate enough. Go so far. Remember when you were dating, how considerate you were of the person you were dating? That's where you want to be. You know, people get married and you go, okay, now things are different. I can ease back, which is the opposite of what you should be doing. Because the benefits from marriage are so powerfully amazing. You're floating on cloud 9 when you're doing it right. Believe me. And thousands of people have taken our courses, and believe them. Read the reviews. Go overboard with your consideration. Be intent on taking care of your spouse. Consideration. Huge. Number 8. Maintain your physical appearance. Now, unfortunately, the therapists and the so-called experts have turned this into something that it's not. You may gain a few pounds. You may have lost your hair. Those things don't matter. But what does matter is that when you get into bed with your wife or your husband, you're clean. You've brushed your teeth. Your hair is neat, your face is washed, your underarms don't stink. Take care of yourself. Don't take your spouse for granted and think just because you can stand your own smell, they will too. Don't go there. You really want to maintain yourself and try having a decent diet so you're not burping aloud and farting and all of that stuff, and keep yourself as if you're dating. Keep your back straight, keep your eyes open. Your appearance to them is what you use that to attract them to you again, so you can enjoy intimacy. You're using the tool of an attractive physical body to have intimacy, because intimacy is where it's at, isn't it? You know, so many men complain about not having enough sex. You hear about it all the time. It's a common complaint. And their wives are complaining that he doesn't bathe well enough. He doesn't take care of himself. He's not smiling at me. He's not considerate of me. It's all part of the package to really have a successful marriage. And remember what a successful marriage means. It means unbelievable happiness and love is worth any effort, and it doesn't really take that much effort. It takes training your mind so that your habits are in place that makes sure you're doing what's right. It's good stuff. Number 9, be sincere. I heard this once a long time ago, that insincerity is like a beautiful dead woman. You know, be real. If you don't like something about yourself enough so that you want to hide your true feelings, change how you feel. That is what free choice is all about. Using that free choice to make changes within yourself, within your thinking, within how you see things, hear things. That's very important, to remain sincere. And if you can't be sincere because you're having evil thoughts, change those. Change those. You can do it. Why not? Number 10 is what it's all about at the Marriage Foundation, what it's all about from my point of view, what marriage is all about. Live in love and in happiness. It is a choice. It's not something that comes to you. It's something that is within you, and you need to attune yourself to it so that it becomes you to your spouse. And then it builds a cycle of happiness and love. You're on cloud 9, and that is when you start to experience marital bliss. It's not just a made-up word, not just a made-up term. You can achieve it. And one of our specialties that we're known for is working with one person at a time. Even our courses, we don't have a course for 2 people. We have a course for men and a course for women. Because let's use this metaphor. You're both trying to move in the same direction of creating love and happiness. Think of yourself as an engine pulling this barge of happiness. 2 of you are pulling it. Well, if just one of you is pulling it, it's going to go. If both of you are pulling it, it's going to go. It may go a little faster, a little slower. As long as you're moving in the right direction, you will experience the promises of marriage, which is ever increasing happiness till the end of your lives, and ever expanding love beyond your life, because love has no boundary. So with that, don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to love your spouse with all your heart, mind, and soul. Be blessed. Thank you for spending time with me. I'm Paul Friedman. I founded the Marriage Foundation, and I did it for you. God bless, and take care.